Lions and the Packers facing off in Green Bay. This means, of course, Micah Parsons making his Packers debut. Picking it up in the second quarter, Packers up 10-3. First and 10 at their own 35. Jordan Love throws it deep up the middle to Romeo Doubs, Dan.
I love the play-action pass, early downs, and Doubs on that post. The safety cuts the crosser. It's a great throw by Jordan Love. They come back the very next play and get that man-beating concept where the number 3 receiver, Reed, runs the wheel off the picket. It's an easy touchdown.
Lambeau leap, and the Packers go up 17-3. Under 2 minutes to go in the half. Can the Lions get anything going here? Goff's pass intercepted by Evan Williams. Parsons there to pressure Goff. This is where Cowboys fans, Jerry Jones, look away. I don't know, maybe you didn't see.
Yeah, it was.
Probably saw.
It was quick.
Packers lead 17-3 going into halftime. Just over 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Lions down 27-6, second and 10 at their own 35, and Parsons rushes, chases Goff down for his first sack as a Packer. He wanted that one pretty bad. All right, here's Micah Parsons after the game on his first time in Green Bay.
I'm telling you, like, this last 6 months was super draining, super toxic for everyone. I mean, it's something that, you know, I don't think no player should have to go through. I think players' fate should be decided earlier. I think the fact that I was traded a week before the season was really outrageous and rough. The trade is done. We got to win. We're 1-0. Now I'm around some really great guys, really great organization, really great fan base, and a really great football team. So now we can put all the nonsense beside.
Let's talk about Micah's debut, RC. What does the tape show you?
Well, the tape shows me that he was impactful beyond the numbers. And obviously you can hear it in the stadium. Rashawn Gary talked about how excited the whole team was to have him in the locker room. But when you watch this tape, he was a part of so many big plays. Here, we saw the Evan Williams interception, but it was Micah's rush on Penei Sewell. He goes up the field and gets inside right away. He's going to put pressure into the face of Jared Goff. Jared gets it out of his hands. Great catch by Evan Williams. Oh, you know why the Cowboys got better? Because they could stop the run. Well, maybe Micah Parsons here taking on a chip, standing up Penei Sewell, one of the best offensive tackles in all of football, and putting him on his butt for the tackle for loss. You want to talk about putting your foot in the ground, keeping the edge, standing and getting out, putting someone on the ground, and the physicality to continue to hustle to the ball is contagious. And if you ever watch TV, National Geographic, and you've seen the lion talking gets great, sometimes it's a big gazelle, sometimes it's a giraffe, sometimes it's a zebra, and sometimes it's a golfer. Jared Goff gets hawked down, and now we see Micah Parsons pointing into the crowd. When you have this sort of excitement, this sort of energy, this sort of athleticism that you add to a defense, I believe it helps everyone get infinitely better. And we saw that yesterday from Jeff Hafley and that entire defensive crew.
You said one word there that stood out to tape, or to me on tape, was contagious. When I watched the defense run to the football yesterday, it really felt like I was watching the Eagles defense of last year.
Wow.
That was like a calling card for the Eagles. It was always like, why do they run to the ball and tackle better than everybody? And you would watch the end of the play and there'd be 6, 7, 8 jerseys at the football. And it felt that way against Green Bay. And I agree with RC, like the impact was bigger than just the stat line. Look at the amount of people for the Packers defense that is running to the football in comparison to the jerseys of the Detroit Lions. The color difference is insane. And I think the juice, the expectation, the vibe, we've got like one of those game changer dudes on our team. Like everybody fly to the football. It's also like he's an eraser. Hey, Jordan Love, you throw the pick, he'll erase it. Like I just believe that defense has a new level now.
And he only played 29 snaps. This defensive effort from the Packers, I would argue, is as impressive an effort yesterday from any unit in football. And Hafley's team, they had 9 tackles for a loss. They had 4 sacks. Jahmyr Gibbs averaged 2.1 yards per carry. Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the most dynamic players in the sport. They tried getting him going. He had 10 catches. And how many yards? He had 30. This was an absolute team effort on the defensive side of the ball. And Parsons brings the energy and might not have filled up the stat sheet, but was all over the field. But I like the guys like, you know, Packers fans say Lucas Van Ness is a bust. Lucas Van Ness was awesome.
They moved him inside yesterday.
Quay Walker's a bust. He was awesome yesterday. Cooper, RC mentioned Evan Williams, Edgerrin Cooper. These guys were all over the field. And when you get all 11 players together, that's the Micah Parsons difference. I'm going to elevate everybody's game.
Edgerrin Cooper, I'm telling you,
he's a baller.
All pro.
Oh, I agree.
He's 12 tackles.
Unbelievable in this game. I think you saw with Detroit on the flip side what happens when they can't run the ball effectively. This was an offense last year that had the shortest distance to go on third down of any team in the football. Yesterday, they were bottom 10 in terms of third distance to go on third down. Jared Goff was put into obvious drop-back situations where the interior of the offensive line couldn't protect, but it all started with the Packers' run defense. Jerry Jones' favorite thing in football. That's going to be it, because so much of what they do is predicated on having run-pass conflict on every down. If they can't create that on third down because they're put into third and longs, you run into trouble. I think they'll be better running the football against other defenses. I think this is as much about the Packers defense as it is about the Lions, but you're a little bit concerned after this first.
I'm very concerned if I'm the Lions. There was one play that you said a word, conflict, where the defense looked to be in conflict to me. I mean, this was an offense in Detroit that always gained advantage schematically. Always. There was so much to look at and pay attention to, and there was easy stuff. Yesterday, everything was difficult. And yes, I agree with Halfley, and you saw a sprinkle of some of the stuff they'll get to. But that Detroit Lions offense scheme-wise looked nothing of what it was in the past couple of years.
Well, I think you also have to point to, as we speak of Jeff Halfley, that Ben Johnson is going to be on this field tonight. Aaron Glenn was at MetLife yesterday. You lose those two coordinators. Is not just what you lose from the standpoint of their mindset and what they understand about the game. It's also an attitude. Dan Campbell is not in those rooms each and every day. And I've seen from both of them as head coaches a fire that ignites an entire locker room. You're going to have to get that from Johnny Moe and Kelvin Shepherd.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of that from Ben Johnson in his first opportunity as a head coach on this field tonight. Let's go back to Micah Parsons, though, as we bring Adam Schefter back in here. You heard Peter mentioning just the 29 snaps that he played. What is the plan for Micah Parsons going forward, Adam, especially on a short week?
Well, the plan would be to ramp him up. They were careful with him on Sunday because he hadn't played football at all this summer. There was a back injury. They met with him, and they wanted to be smart with him on Sunday, knowing that there's a full season ahead. But even in a short week, up against a foe that Micah Parsons knows plenty about in the Washington Commanders, you could look for him to be used a little bit more this week against Washington. And
you got to finally see him in week 1 action. Deebo Samuel, a big ad for the Commanders. 7 catches for 77 yards in the air. Deebo caught up with our Dan Graziano after the game.
That set us back a little bit. We're just going to get to work this week.